A man walked into my DMs last week. He said, I've spent $3,000 on dating coaches in the last year. I've watched hundreds of videos. I know exactly how to open a conversation. I know the perfect first date spot. I know when to text, what to say, how to act. And I'm more single than when I started. What am I missing? I didn't have a quick answer for him because everything he said was true. Dating coaches have turned finding love into a science. There are rules for everything. Wait 3 days to text. Ask open-ended questions. Maintain frame. Never double text. Be confident but not arrogant. Be vulnerable but not needy. The list goes on and on. And here's the problem. The more men learn, the more they perform. And the more they perform, the less they connect. I want to tell you about someone I met in Austin last year. His name is Chris. He's 33, software engineer, fit, funny. On paper, he's the guy every dating coach would call high value. But Chris had been single for 5 years. He had followed every rule. He had read every book. He had memorized every pickup line and every conversation tactic. And nothing worked. One night, he was on a date with a woman named Rachel. He was running his usual playbook, asking the right questions, leaning back, keeping his frame. And at one point, Rachel looked at him and said something he never forgot. She said, "You're doing the thing again. You're trying to make me like you. Can you just be a person?" Chris froze. He had no script for that. No coach had prepared him for someone calling him out on the script itself. He sat there for a moment, embarrassed, and then he laughed. He said, "You're right. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore." And for the first time in years, he stopped performing. He told her about the spreadsheet he kept of his dates. He told her about the $3,000 he spent on coaches. He told her he was terrified of being alone. Rachel didn't run. She stayed. And later she told him, "That was the first real conversation I've had on a date in years." Chris and Rachel have been together for 8 months now. And Chris told me the thing he learned was something no coach ever taught him. "They taught me how to get a woman to like me. Nobody taught me how to be someone worth liking." That's the advice no dating coach is giving you. They're selling you tactics. But love isn't a game of tactics. It's a game of being. Let me explain what I mean. Yet a 2024 study from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships looked at what actually predicts relationship success. Not pickup lines, not text timing, not frame control. The researchers found 3 things. First, authenticity. People who felt they could be themselves in early dating were far more likely to form lasting relationships. Second, reciprocity. Relationships worked when effort was balanced, not when one person was constantly trying to impress the other. And third, emotional safety. People needed to feel they wouldn't be judged for being honest. Notice what's missing. No mention of the perfect opening line. No mention of waiting 3 days to text. No mention of maintaining frame or never showing weakness. Here's the truth that dating coaches won't tell you. The men who succeed at dating aren't the ones with the best tactics. They're the ones who stopped trying to be someone else. I talked to a woman named Maya in Chicago. She's 29, single, and has been on more dates than she can count. I asked her what made her keep seeing someone. Her answer surprised me. She said, "The men who weren't trying to impress me, the ones who just sat down and talked to me like a normal person. Not like I was a job interview, not like I was a trophy, just a human being having a conversation." She told me about a guy named James. First date, he showed up, ordered a beer, and asked her what she was actually scared of. Not what she did for work, not her hobbies, what she was scared of. She said, "That question caught me off guard, and he didn't have a slick follow-up. He just listened. And then he told me what he was scared of. We spent the whole night talking about real things, not the script." She saw James for 3 months. It didn't work out in the end, but she said, "That was the healthiest dating experience I've ever had." Because we started as real people, not as performances. Here's the problem with the dating coach industry. They're selling you a version of yourself that isn't you. They tell you to be confident, but that's not who you are right now. They tell you to be mysterious, but you're an open book. They tell you to be playful, but you're a serious person. And you spend all your energy trying to be someone you're not, and you wonder why you're exhausted. I want to share something a 36-year-old man in Portland told me. He had been in therapy for 2 years working on himself. Not to get dates, but because he was genuinely unhappy. He said, I spent my entire 20s trying to be the guy women wanted. I lifted weights, I made money, I learned the scripts, and I was miserable. Eventually, I realized I was building a life that looked good on paper but felt empty inside. So I stopped. I stopped trying to be impressive. I just started living my life the way I wanted to live it. I started painting again, something I loved as a kid. I started going to open mic nights just to watch. I stopped swiping on apps. And 6 months later, I met someone at a coffee shop. She was sitting next to me reading a book I loved. I just turned to her and said, that book changed my life. That was it. No pickup line, no game, just honesty. We've been together for a year now. Here's the thing about authenticity that nobody tells you. It's not a strategy to get dates. It's a way of living that makes dating less painful. Because when you're being yourself, rejection doesn't destroy you. You're not being rejected because you failed the script. You're being rejected because you weren't a match, and that's okay. Not everyone is supposed to be a match. A study from the University of Toronto in 2025 looked at why some people stay single despite wanting a relationship. The researchers found something interesting. People who approach dating with a self-presentation mindset, trying to look perfect, managing their image, performing, were significantly more likely to remain single than people who approach dating with a self-discovery mindset, looking for someone they genuinely connected with. The performers stayed single because they were so focused on being liked that they never found out if they actually liked the other person. They were so busy trying to win that they forgot to choose. This is the advice no dating coach is giving you. Stop trying to win. Start trying to find. If you're on a date and you're performing, you're not even in the room. You're in your head, running through scripts, checking your posture, monitoring your tone. The person across from you can feel it. They can feel that you're not present, and nothing is lonelier than being with someone who isn't really there. A 27-year-old woman in Denver told me, I can tell within 5 minutes if a man is being himself. If he's giving me lines, if he's trying to be what he thinks I want, I'm gone. Not because I'm harsh, because I've done that dance too many times. It never ends well. She said the best dates she's had were with men who were nervous, who admitted they were nervous, who stumbled over their words, who asked weird questions, who were clearly just being themselves. She said, a man who can be awkward in front of me is a man I can trust because he's not hiding. I'm not saying you should show up to a date with no preparation. I'm not saying you shouldn't put effort into your appearance or your conversation. But the preparation should be about being your best self, not being a different self. You know, the best dating advice I ever heard came from a 72-year-old man who had been married for 50 years. I asked him what his secret was. He said, I married someone who liked me when I wasn't trying. I stopped trying to impress her somewhere around our third date. She stuck around anyway. That was 50 years ago. He paused and said, if you have to be someone else to get them, you'll have to be someone else to keep them. And that's exhausting. That's the advice no dating coach will give you, because they can't sell you a course on being yourself. They can't give you 10 steps to authenticity. There's no framework for dropping the act. But here's what you can do. Stop watching videos that tell you how to get someone to like you. Start living a life that you like. Do things you genuinely enjoy. Pursue interests that light you up. Build friendships that matter. Become someone who is interesting because you're interested in life, not because you're performing interest. And when you go on a date, don't go to impress. Go to discover. Discover if this person makes you feel like yourself. Discover if you laugh together. Discover if silence feels comfortable. Discover if you actually like them, not just want them to like you. If you're a man watching this and you've been running the playbook, I see you. You're not wrong for wanting to be better, but you might be trying to be better at the wrong thing. Don't get better at performing. Get better at being. The people who find love aren't the best actors. They're the ones who stopped acting. This is Men Decoded, where we don't blame men, don't shame women, and don't avoid the truth. We decode it.